Well, good evening, everyone. So hopefully you can hear me. If you will, just type in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me and that audio is not too hot because I'm kind of wondering if it is. And I'll tell you what, every time I go to do these lives, it gets a little stressful because I keep on saying, oh, is it live? Is it connected? Is it going? There's, all kinds of crazy things. But anyway, it's not a big deal. Just need to relax and enjoy it. So let me know. Let me check here. Let me make sure that audio is good with everybody. So give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. And we can get started. I got a few things to go over tonight. While I don't really have I don't schedule or actually plan these out. So let me make sure audio is good. Okay, hopefully it is. And we'll go from there. So let me tell you what's going on, what's new and exciting. We're building a showroom. I think I said that on the last live. So we'll be breaking ground in August, which would be nice. It'll be here in Sharon Springs, New York. I'm excited about that. So I'll have more room to have all the toys, all the Defenders and the motorcycles and. So that's a good bit of news. I think it is, at least. We're surrounded by Amish here, and they're the ones that built my garage and the barn, and so they're going to build the new showroom too. But these guys, boy, they stay busy. And the funny part about the Amish too is they show up, and you're expecting them to show up on basically buggies with horses, and they don't. They show up in trucks. They have what's called drivers or designated English people that are drivers, and they drive them up, and they all unload. And it's pretty funny. They start at about 7 a.m. in the morning. Not about. They do. They start at 7 a.m. They go to work. They take a break at 10 o'clock for 15 minutes, and only 15 minutes. And then they go back to work, and then they stop for lunch, and lunch is 30 minutes and only 30 minutes. And then they continue back to work, and then right at 4:45 they stop working, they clean up, and then at 5 o'clock they're all sitting there lined up waiting for the driver to pull up. Driver pulls up, they get in, they leave. But here's the thing, the workforce, when they showed up, I was like, boy, these guys look young. Sorry. And sure enough, they are. They were all like 13, about 13, 14 years old, and the supervisor, in fact, was 15 years old. And it was really cute because on the barn, when we built the barn, they were writing on the inside, like the 2x12s and everything, and it was writing like Elmer loves whomever. Elmer, that's a popular name, by the way. David loves Susie, that type of stuff. So anyway, we left that. Actually, I covered it with some polyurethane so it would stay there because I thought it was really cute. And it gives a little history about the barn, which brings me to the next thing. Talking about history, I'm a complete, maybe you guys can relate to this, that I go down these rabbit holes where I get really excited about things, and things that I'm going to purchase, things I'm going to possess, things I'm going to pursue. And I think if you look behind me in the garage here, you'll see that everything here has a story. And I had a client, Aaron, and if you got my recent email, no, it was actually on Instagram, but I talked about Aaron and his son, Nick. And Nick said he's looking around, he's looking at everything, he's doing videos. Man, this place is like a museum. And that really kind of made me chuckle, but it made me smile. It made me really proud because I am one, and again, maybe you can relate, that I don't like to buy mass-produced things. I think part of the excitement for me, well, I don't think I know, part of the excitement for me is doing the research and learning all about it. In fact, I think that's a big part of it. Just to, when was it originally built? Who built it? Who were they? Where did they live? What was their thought process? What was their background? So it's all, where was it built? And how did it transition? How did it grow? And those type of things. And the rarer that it is, that it's not common, the more attracted I am to it. The harder it is to find it, the more attracted I am to it. So again, maybe you can relate to that. And I'm going somewhere with this. I really am, because I got a lot of comments, because I mean it was the first time I showed one of the Land Cruisers, and I'm like, oh, what the heck? I'll go ahead and show some Land Cruisers. And I have to be honest, I think I was hiding them. I mean, hiding, and as I've kind of hid the Porsches and some of my other cars and everything too, because you guys follow me for Land Rovers, and I was stressing over it, to be honest. And I don't know why. I mean, because I just love things with motors and things with a history behind it. So, Land Cruisers, yeah, occasionally we'll have one here or there, and I think they're awesome too. I love the Land Rovers. I love the Land Cruisers. I love International Scouts. I love Broncos. I love Isuzu Troopers. So adventure vehicles are what I'm really drawn to. I'm also drawn to sports cars, and as you guys can tell, I'm drawn to motorcycles too. So, but again, everything has a story, has a history, and started with a vision. Somebody that was very passionate about what they were doing. They were a craftsman. And I just don't have the same excitement. Like, I have a new F-250, well, new, it's a 22 model. And I ordered it. I had to wait 6 months or whatever it was. I got it. They called me. They said, hey, your F-250's here. Aren't you excited? You come get it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be there in a few days. And it's not that I'm not grateful, but I mean, all the F-250 was for was to serve a purpose, to be able to pull the horse trailer, to be able to haul mulch, that type of stuff. It was just a purpose. There's nothing exciting to me, and first world problems, I know, and I'm not being snobby, but there's no craftsmanship in that, and so it doesn't excite me. Um, on the flip side, when David shows up, and if you followed me on Instagram, you know where I'll go live, and he's there with the trailer, and I'll go live, and I'm like, all right, David's here. What's he got in the trailer? I get so excited. When I get nervous, when I get excited, I start, I won't even go there, but let's just say my excitement level is a very high level that creates an uncomfortable feeling, but it's just a lot of excitement. And whenever he's showing up with a new vehicle that we've built, boy, it's exciting. And that's the way I felt today. I actually got to, let me go this way. Right behind me, the K5 Blazer. I got to go drive it. I put 55 miles on it today. And wow. But backstory on that real quick, if you didn't see the last live broadcast, my dad had a K5 Blazer, and I got to ride in it a lot, and I would borrow it. You get the keys when he wasn't home, or remove the top, all that stuff. So anyway, this one is in celebration of my dad's birthday, which I do every year. I build something in celebration of my dad's birthday. Last year, it was D110 3-door. It was brown. A lot of you guys didn't like it because you didn't like the brown, but I did. So anyway, and we'll get into that. I'm going to get into the K5 Blazer. So Squirrel, that's me. Let me show you what I'm doing right now. It has nothing to do with Land Rovers or anything like that. But back to the point about doing the research. I have found this, I've known about this for a long time, and I am in this crazy research mode of ordering the book, Know Thy Beast. This is talking about Vincent motorcycles. So it was really the first super bike. Some of them are really rare. I mean, overall, they are pretty rare, but this is a guy that had a vision and ended up building. It was the world's fastest motorcycle back in the 1950s, 150 miles an hour. That was unheard of. Many motorcycles won't even do 100 miles an hour. So there's a model called the Black Shadow, and they're pretty rare. Let me say this again, they're very rare if they're numbers matching and original and not just completely ripped apart. And I found 2 of them. So I'm thinking about it. I mean, I could just really easily, they're both in the UK, so I could go to my shop in the UK, go there, see the Vincent motorcycles, decide if I really want to buy it, get on it, ride it through, the UK, go into Scotland. It sounds romantic, doesn't it? Um, but I don't want to rush it because oops, sorry. I'm ordering the books. I'm reading the books. I'm watching the videos. Do you any of you guys do that? Uh, and really, let me just share this a picture of it with you here. And it's not the well, I don't know. You be the judge. You tell me. What do you guys think? I'd love to see some comments. Let me share this. What do you
What do you
think?
think?
Is this a good looking motorcycle to you, or does it just look like an old bike?
It
Just
just
looks
looks
like
like
an
an
old
old
motorcycle,
motorcycle,
or
or
is it like, wow, that's pretty sexy. It's artwork. I is in the beauty of the beholder, right? All right, so back to it. So, all in all, it's not a Ducati, is it? I mean, it doesn't have those sexy lines, but I'm really excited about that. So, that's my point, that collecting vehicles is really special and you can't do it with anything mass produced. Not a sales pitch. I'm just sharing with you how I feel about it, and that's how I start collecting stuff. And it's a slippery slope, that's for sure. So, you guys are really into, and gals are really into Land Rovers. So I want to recommend a book for you. Um, Good English gentleman wrote this book, and the Land Rover story. You can order this on Amazon. Uh, I don't make any money, so don't think that or whatever. But I just wanted to, since you're taking your evening to hang out with me, I wanted to share something with you that maybe you'll find interesting. And even if you don't like to read, just take your time with it. And because there's not many pictures, but it's really interesting. I've read this book so many times, and every time I read it, it gets the ideas flowing. And I think it's because when the Land Rover was originally built and the things that they went through to get it and what it became and all that, I just find it really exciting. And you just don't see stuff like that anymore, really, at least in my opinion. So that brings me to the point of our clients at Helderburg. And that's, yeah, it takes a while. It takes many months. And we were at a 3-year build cycle for quite a while, that it would take 3 years to get your Helderberg. And that time has definitely improved, but with the supply chain, that was what was going on. But it's the process of the build and taking the time. And it's like I had a great couple here just the other day, and I had a gentleman here this morning, and I had a, a, a lady that was here midday today. And this is what we were doing, going through leather and picking out colors and talking about exterior color. And I love doing that with clients. You just, this is only a small sample of the leather, just so you know. But, and it's just something that if you can be able to do something like this, I mean, because it's not cheap to do a Helderberg, but it's a wonderful experience. It's just fun picking the colors and everything else. It's a once in a lifetime thing. And again, I encourage you, order the book, read the book, and you'll really want a Land Rover. And it doesn't have to be a Helderberg. I mean, not everybody can afford a Helderberg. That's fine. There's Land Rovers, there's Toyota Land Cruisers that you can buy that are dependable. They might not be the prettiest, but that's what makes it part of the family, because you can take your time and you can do a restoration. And there's a lot of the things that you can do on your own, even if you have no mechanical ability. And parts are plentiful, parts are inexpensive, and people are passionate about it. Land Rover, Land Cruisers, whatever, K5 Blazers, they're unlike a G-Wagon. People are not going to look at you and say, oh, aren't you, being all special. People are passionate about it, and that's what's great. So talking about passion, I want to share this video with you. This was from today, so we didn't do a lot of editing to it, but I just want to share it with you, and then I'm going to talk about what's going on here. So I think this video is about 3 to 5 minutes, so hopefully it keeps your attention. So here we go. So March 31st is almost here, and if you watch my previous video, I talked about every year I do a vehicle that's in celebration of my father, Paul Sr. This year, it's a 1970 K5 Blazer. I grew up riding in one of these with my dad's dog, and I call it my dad's dog because he loved him the most, and his name was Mickey. Hence, Mickey, the 1970 K5 Blazer. But I will tell you that this K5 Blazer is unlike any other K5 Blazer, and I'm saying that K5 Blazer a lot, but just so you understand, this 1970 model is the only thing that it is close to a 1970 Blazer is just the looks, the iconic looks. The chassis, in other words, the frame that's under this vehicle is completely custom and completely modern. It has an independent suspension, and it's also 4 inches wider on either side. So this is our wide track custom chassis. Gives you more stability, it gives you more control, and that's definitely needed because the power plant under this hood is a pure beast. We're gonna go for a ride in it, you're gonna hear it, but I will tell you, this is the ideal daily driver or long trip vehicle because it rides just like a brand new Chevy Tahoe. It has that type of luxury with 4-wheel disc brakes, independent suspension. It handles like a dream, and the turning radius, which you'll see, is unbelievable. But the sound is intoxicating. That scoots. So a few things as we're driving. I will not be able to, I'm not even giving it 20%, maybe 20% accelerator, maybe 25, okay, at the very most. But I won't be able to do too much. This engine only has 25 miles on it, so it needs to go through a breakthrough process. So we need to be civil for about the first 500 miles, vary our RPMs, no red lines, nothing carried away, but that's hard not to do. Memories. Again, the interior's not done. We are going to do a beautiful leather interior in here, carpet, soft top, the works. So it's gonna be, and hopefully we can get all this done by March 31st. And today is, what is today? I think it's like March 25th, so, and we got a lot of snow. I'm gonna be putting some miles on this one, I can tell you right now. It does have the original style steering column. I'm shaking Mike all around here because it's hard to keep the foot off the accelerator. But original style steering column, which has a shifter on the column. It is tilt steering, old school style. Woo! All right, that was 25% of accelerator, and we made quite the dust cloud. So let's just listen to it for a minute. Again, I can't get too crazy. Braking is as straight as it can be. So right now I'm barely putting the brakes on and bringing it to slow down, and it's beautiful. Some things that you'll see in this, again, the wood steering wheel that you always see in one of our Land Rovers, one of our Defenders. The gauges look old school, but they are LED lit, and they're anodized aluminum back. So they look old school, but that extra bit of class to it. Some billet knobs here and there. Leather dash. Center console will go in, leather seats, the leather door panels, the soft top, the carpet, all the way through. forward-facing bench seats, and we can also do this in a hardtop version. This is a USA or a California compliant build, but you still have that retro style. The exterior color is a metallic green. It looks very close to the original Chevy color, but we've put some real fine metallic flake in it, and the underbody, the underside, the lower part, is a cream white. Normally they were bright white. This is going to be a blast. Whew, that was exciting. I know what I'm doing tomorrow. So what'd you guys think? Could you see the 70s vibe there going on? So anyway, but it was cold, let me tell you that. And I had that heat going, had the windows rolled up. I had my thick coat on. I felt like that young Paul again, because that's definitely what I did back in the day growing up in Memphis, and in the winter with the windows up and heat on. So that was pretty cool. So what's really interesting, what's really cool though, I think, is this morning I was wrenching on one of my Nortons. So I was changing spark plugs and all that and adjusting the jets and the carburetor. And I'm doing that, of course, with tools, old school tools. And then looking at the K5 Blazer, I popped the glove box to get my sunglasses out, and there's the plug for the OBD stuff, and the action. And it's like, you don't adjust carburetors anymore the way I grew up, the way I learned. You don't even have carburetors. In fact, it's all about maps. It's all about sitting there with a computer and doing this to be able to get more performance, more power out of a vehicle. And in the K5, I mean, that's what we ended up doing. I mean, it has an LS3, but it's got a computer that's driving all of this. And you want more horsepower? No problem. We can put a chip in it and do this, and there you go. It's magic versus the days that I grew up. When I was young, if I wanted more horsepower, I'd put a new manifold on top. I would put a new carburetor on top, like a double pumper or something. I would change the exhaust. I would do those type of things. And so I feel like what we have now is really interesting, because I have the Land Rover Defender, which Otto's on the other side of the Land Cruiser here, and then there's more in the garage back there. But like the 300 TDI, that's what I love about that, because it gives me the mechanical aspect, no computers. Just completely mechanical. And if I want more power, then I adjust the injection pump and boom, I got more power. Or I put a bigger turbo on it, more power. A different cylinder head, more power. Different intercooler, more power. So I've got that part, which is near and dear to me. And then I've got the part where we can actually do some adjustments. So let me talk about the chassis a little bit. And I don't think I've really made that really, really clear, but the chassis was all handmade, completely handmade. It has no resemblance to what they used to be, that chassis. 4 inches wider, so it's a wide track. Pontiac talked about that many, many years ago when they created a vehicle that was wider, gives you more stability. So that's a chassis that we also offer in the Defenders. And as we're lifting Defenders, because you see almost all the Helderbergs have been lifted, so you're raising the center of gravity, and it's important that you start to widen those things out, which we have done for a long time. I mean, there's a proper type of lift, and then there's an improper type of lift. And when you do a proper type of lift, you're changing radius arms, prop shafts, you're doing you're building the transmission properly. So there's a lot of things. So you either have your teenage boy lift that doesn't have the budget, and you see that on a lot of lifted Defenders, or you do it properly. So we do it properly, and now we have this new chassis, which makes total sense. So on the 300 TDI. Uh, the way we've been doing it for a number of years with the original frame numbers matching makes complete sense. It's a straight axle. The 300 TDI rides really great on that frame that it was engineered for. But when we're doing an engine swap, when we're going and saying we're doing the LS3, I mean, we're doubling the horsepower. We're going up to over 400 horsepower, 435, 450 horsepower. And that's a lot of horsepower for a vehicle that was not engineered for. I'm just going to be honest. And while it's fun and it's exciting and it sounds good and everything else, it becomes to one of those things. Just because you should doesn't mean you should actually, or just because you can doesn't mean you should. So, and I see a lot of defenders out there that have the LSs and all this horsepower, and I've always been like, you got to do this right. You got to do this right. Slow your horses. Don't just drop an engine in and call it done. That, and I guess that's fine if you can really truly drive, that you grew up and learn how to drive without ABS brakes, without traction control, without all of those things. But there's a whole nother factor too, that now you're lifting it. So then you're putting all that horsepower. And so that's where this chassis that we do is, no one else does it. It's taken us a long time to get to this point. That's why I'm so excited about it. That's why I did the last live and shared the videos and everything else. But it does make a difference. It really, truly does. So wanted to share that with you. I'm excited about the next, somebody, a question. Someone said K5 is cool, but I was hoping about Land Rover Cruiser announcement. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. I'll talk a little bit about that. You made me lose my train of thought just kind of laughing about that. So anyway, so what was I saying? I even forgot. It's been too long of a day. But anyway, so the K5, yeah. Oh, I remember. We've already started on a second one. And really interesting color. It was a color that was never used on a K5, so that's really cool. And I know the K5s, a lot of you guys are probably going, I don't have any interest in K5s, but I think it's like back to the Vincent motorcycles. I had no interest in Vincent motorcycles. I was all about Nortons and Ducatis and all that, and all of a sudden I'm interested in Vincent motorcycles now and talking about flying to the UK and getting one. Oh, slippery slope, isn't it? All right, so let's talk about Toyota Land Cruisers. Here's my thought. I mean, we've done Land Cruisers, a handful for quite a while. And I've been thinking about it. I mean, I've been considering it because they are fun. But a Toyota Land Cruiser has that look, that it looks very vintage, very classic, which I really appreciate, versus a Defender. All the time people are always saying, oh, is that the new 2024? So the Defender is a very timeless design. I don't think, I know that the Defender is a little more near and dear to my heart, because that's really what my dad was really passionate about. That's what I grew up with, and my personality kind of goes for that, because I like British. I mean, my sweater is made in England, my boots are made in England, I like English motorcycles. I just love the design and the craftsmanship that's done in England. I don't know why I'm drawn to it. My suits are England. I mean, it just goes on and on. I love English design, and I think that's why I'm so passionate. It's not to say I don't love Land Cruisers, because Land Cruisers are great, but I've put a lot of development into the Land Rovers, into the Defenders, to make them where they're a daily driver. I had a couple gentlemen that I hung out with that was great, and they, Scott and Dustin's on the call now, I believe, and they went to another builder, not saying their name, but they're in Florida, but anyway, and drove some of their trucks, and so they could actually have a comparison, and to say, all right, is Helderburg really what Paul says it is, compared to this other really supposedly, big company in Florida. And needless to say, they've both bought 130s. And Scott also bought a D90 too. So I think that answers that. So the point that I'm trying to make is I put a lot of development into a Defender to make it what it is. The Land Cruisers, yeah, we can do a great restoration, but I haven't put the development into it. So it's not a daily driver. It's a fun vehicle, but it's around town. It's that type of stuff. It's iconic, it's cool, and all that. I would like to put more design into them before I started to sell them. In other words, more performance, more to make it more of a, or you can drive it to Jackson Hole, Wyoming from New York and back type stuff. And it's not that the dependability is not there, because they're definitely dependable. There's no doubt about that. And of course, these are full nut and bolt restorations and all that, as if any of my vehicles are. But so the short answer is I'm toying with the idea. So I will share more Land Cruisers. I'll share some other ones that we've done. I'll put it out there. And if there's an interest, then I would definitely consider doing it, as long as the client knows that it's not a Defender that's a daily driver, but it's a great around town vehicle that's, I think they're sexy. But anyway, so that's that. So if you're on the call and you're interested in a Land Cruiser, send me a message and we'll talk. I don't want to break the process of what we do, because my guys are really great at building Defenders, and to start saying, hey, we're going to start building more Land Cruisers, it takes away from the Defenders. And so it would have to be very methodical, and I would probably just want to open up another shop and do it with a different staff. I mean, because we are so busy with the Defenders that I don't have any more 130s. My build slots are done for the 130s probably for the year, unless I bring more staff in. 110s, I don't have any more build slots for the 110s for a while. I'll have more later on in the year. I feel good about that. So we're just so busy with the Defenders. I just kind of hate to go that direction. So anyway, I don't hate it, but anyway. All right, guys, any questions? I got to put on the glasses. I'm getting old here. Any thoughts, any questions? Let's see. All right, cool. So yeah, widened chassis, pretty cool. Rides, it's wonderful, 4 inches on each side. So that's kind of it. But if you have questions, let me know. Send me a message. My mobile number is everywhere. It's not always me answering the text, because we do get a lot of messages. Send us a Facebook message, send us an email, whatever works for you. But if you're in the area, if you're around Albany, New York, send me a message. Let's see if we can meet up, see if you can come to the shop, come to my garage and kind of look at the toys, and we can hang out and have a conversation. I always encourage that. And that's it. But I'm going to go in and have dinner with my lovely wife. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up bright and early. And I'm actually going to drive. I've got Arby's Defender here. Arby's a gentleman. His Defender's name, Orpheus. We got to get pictures done, get videos done. I got to get some miles on it. I'll share that with you. But just kind of consider it to be Elizabeth number 2. So I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. And that's all I've got. Any questions? Let me know. And have a great week.